Good Monday morning. Here's Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is Monday, yes, and it is 11th of March. First week of March has gone, and what a week it was. We saw it ending with a massive sell-off. It jumped higher, but ended with a massive sell-off in US equities, especially in the tech stocks. Here we have the Semiconductor ETF that actually shows what actually went on. We saw it across the board in CrowdStrike, NVIDIA especially all the semiconductors spilling into the main indices. Top reversal pattern. This is a bearish engulfing forming in the SOX index and the semiconductor ETF here. And moving on to the S&P 500, we can also see what it did here. A bearish engulfing market open higher than the previous day's close and closing lower than the previous day's opening price. So that is a clear sign of a power shift in the market from buyers to sellers. Key support 5,057, that should be observed. That is the key support. But if we take out that, then we can see a larger correction down to around 4,900. Nasdaq 100 also bearish engulfing there. Key support 17,808. I think it will be tested this week. We have been warning about this one for quite some time. We're talking about divergence on the RSI, where the RSI didn't really support this bullish move up here, but again, you should trust your trend, but it now seems to be ending at least short term. We have the EUROSTOXX 50 that touched the 100%, so with what it actually did, same distance here as the same distance here back from October to December. Then we had a correction, and then I have projected or extended it up and hit it right smack on the ascent almost within a few euros, 49.80. We will not see it testing 5,000 anytime soon. Now below the rising trend line, key support 48.12. But if it starts moving lower here in coming days, which I believe it will, then we will see also sell-off in EUROSTOXX, but probably not as heavy as in the tech stocks. Key support on DAX to be observed, 17,620. Despite this spike up here, it could be the last straw, at least for some time in DAX. AEX Friday also quite heavy. Didn't form a bearish engulfing, but we can check the. No, we didn't get it on the futures either. Anyway, 837 key support area. This gap here. I think we will see a pressure lower. We can also see massive divergence on the RSI during this last push up here. So expect some corrections coming into also the Belgian market. That is, of course, quite much influenced by ASM and ASML. CAC firing a little bit better despite dipping a little bit lower. Also divergence here. Key support 7,875. Still an uptrend, so trust the trend for now. And also the Swiss market actually trading higher today. Quite interesting, but there seems to be room up to 11,730. And in the medium term, also longer, you can see how the market is starting to move around here. We have the moving average pointing higher, or more or less all of them. So we should see Swiss market firing a little bit better than the other markets on the short term. Euro-dollar reached the 61.8 correction of this downtrend here from December to February at 109.70. We are above the cloud. We are in an uptrend. The 100 moving average pointing up, the 200 moving pointing up, and we have them crossing over here. The 55, so the medium term is a little bit flat, slightly declining, but to flat, and I think it will start flattening a little bit more, and expect a little bit of a setback, possibly down to 109 before the next push towards 110 and to the 786 retracement at 110.45. We are in a bullish sentiment, positive sentiment on the RSI, so we should see a euro-dollar moving higher in coming weeks. If we take the cable that took out 128.28 28, and confirming its uptrend. Positive sentiment, likely to move higher in coming weeks. Trading just around the 200 weekly moving average here, but there should be room up to 130. If we zoom out a little bit, as you can see, the 130 level, but we could reach the 138.2 projection of this downtrend there at 129.45 first, and then some resistance. So expect strong resistance up there, but we are in a bullish trend. On the dollar-yen pair, currently trading below the 786 retracement. I think we'll see a test of 145.90 key support around down here at around 145.85, 90. Where we also have the 200 moving average giving some support, and the cloud area will also do that. So I think we'll see a bounce from there. How high we can only speculate on that if we get down there, but. Quite heavy on the yen pairs. They are really on the move at the moment. Euro-yen very close to testing the 61.8 retracement at 160.25. We have the 55 moving average coming on, also the 100 flattening a little bit, although, but it will give some support. So I'm not quite sure it will dip lower, but it could. But there's some really strong support down here at 158.5, 158. Also yen. Also very close to testing its 61.8 retracement at the 96.80. I don't think it will drop much lower. Could dip down, however, to test the lower rising trend line. But let's see, still above the cloud. So I think we will see it moving around, turning around around these levels. But let's see, it's still quite heavy. RSI testing the 40 threshold. So will it close above or below? I mean, being rejected and then bounce from the 40 threshold, or will it close below? Keep an eye on that one. Aussie dollar did close just below 66.25 here Friday. Just bang on, basically. We have the 55 moving average coming down there, so dragging it a little bit back lower, and we have the 100 moving average coming up, so kind of closing it in there. However, we are in a positive sentiment RSI, so we are building an uptrend. We can see higher highs, higher low, higher high here. So we have a confirmed uptrend across the board. Just need to get a little bit of ground here. I think we could see a little bit of a setback towards the 65.50. I don't think we'll get all the way down there before next upwards move. Dollar Canada also quite interesting. Broke this lower rising trend line. Dip below 134.40 support area and the 55 moving average, and now I will say expect it to be range bound between that level and up to around 135.5. I think we will see it being trading around here. We have the 100 moving average coming down there, but we have the 55 coming up here, and just trading, just snapping it, locking in it in this range. That's what I would expect, with a little bit bullish undertone, supported by the positive RSI. Dollar Swiss testing 87.40, 42 minor support. Could see it dropping a little bit lower towards the 87, where we have the 55 moving average coming up, giving some support. Below the 200 moving average, so expect further consolidation or further correction down to around that level before next push higher. Finally, on the dollar index, pushing lower, pausing a little bit at the 50% retracement, just around 102.60, very close to dipping down to the 61.8 retracement at 102.06, and we could see that we are in a negative sentiment on the RSI. So we are in a downtrend on the dollar. Gold spiked higher to 2,000 and let's remove that one. 2,195, as you can see here. Actually spiked a little bit higher, 2,095, which was the 138.2 projection of this entire, and let's just do it, we can see that. So around here we have it. One moment. That was so of this big range here. Expect a little bit of a setback, possibly down to 21.50, 21.35, which is the upper part of that that consolidation area here. So expect a little bit of setback, I would say, and profit taking. We have the RSI at a bit of an extreme overbought, but there's no divergence indicating that we are likely to see higher levels in gold in coming weeks. Silver rejected at the minor resistance at 24.60, but it is in a positive sentiment and a close above. Could see it push to 26, but I think we'll see a correction down to at least 24 here on the short term. On the energy side, we have, and here we have it, WTI. Despite spiking so many times above 79.77 key resistance, we actually did close above here about a week ago. It can't really get its act together and move higher, and it was sold off Friday. So I would say range bound between 75.5 up to around 80 on WTI. More or less the same picture on Brent, but it hasn't really tested the 84.75 key resistance, and we are just trading sideways. There's a lot of battle going on here around the 200 moving average, where we have the 55 coming up, but we have the 100 moving average coming down. There is slightly positive sentiment illustrated by the RSI that is still in a positive sentiment mode, hasn't broken below 40, but I would say sideways rating, but suddenly it will break out. Finally, when we are talking about finally here we have the, that was not it. This is the US 10-year Treasury yield. I think we can see a dip down to 4%, which is a 61.8 retracement of this rally up there. And then I think it's done. We have the 100 moving average coming down, kind of putting a lid on it, but then we have some support in the 55 moving average, dragging it higher. And again, we could see it being range bound around the 200 moving average here in the next coming weeks. It will be interesting to see what the numbers, CPI numbers coming out from US. I believe it is tomorrow. RSI is still above 40, just trading. You can see it's just dipping below, but it hasn't closed below. So that's something to keep an eye on here in the coming days. All right, that's all for today. There will be updates out on the Magnificent 7, which is not that magnificent anymore. NVIDIA formed a massive top and reversal pattern, and we saw that across the board in tech stocks Friday. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Happy trading. Talk to you again tomorrow.